Well, I'm so pleased to have with us to talk about climate change and cities the Mayor of Kuala Lumpur, Maimunah Mohd Sharif. Thank you very much for making time.
Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
And look, it's a bleak place to start, but we've got to be real about what's happening with climate change and the weather effects. In the last few weeks leading up to this event, we've seen, awful floods in cities across Spain, across Poland, Thailand, the Philippines as well. Talk to us about how cities can become resilient in the face of extreme weather.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think one thing that I would like to put forward is climate change is real. It's happened today, as you said, in Spain, even in Kuala Lumpur. But can a city be resilient? I'm very optimistic. I'm very hopeful. The answer is yes, but with a few parameters that's needed in order for the city to be resilient. One parameter is that leadership. Leadership and political will. I think this is very important at the city level to have the leaders who believe in climate change, who believe that climate change is real. So then they will plan for the resilient plan for the city. Second, of course, the political will to do it. Second is that must have the capacity. What I mean by capacity here is that in terms of the funding, we talk about the loss and damage fund. We talk a lot about the adaptation fund, green climate fund. But this fund should trickle down to the cities in order for the city to, especially the most vulnerable city and the least carbon emission emitters, but they have the most vulnerable in terms of climate change. And then, when we have the funding, we must also have the capacity. The capacity to use the fund, the capacity, the expertise, and also the thought leaders in order to implement the plan that been prepared or the funding that been there to spend the fund properly. And then last but not least is the governance. The governance we must have a transparent and accountable governance in the city, especially when you deal with funding, when you deal with plan in dealing with climate change. So we must be accountable. There must be an enabling factor to implement the climate change program, to implement the resilient program. With this, we have to also include local communities. I totally believe in bottom-up, top-bottom, convergence of ideas in the middle. This is very important, the principle of 4P. I only put it public, private, people partnership.
That's really interesting because I was going to ask you about that next, about getting buy-in from the citizens as well. Especially recently in Spain, we saw plenty of angry citizens upset at the situation they were in with their flooding. So you don't often need to convince people they need to do things, but you do need buy-in from the people, don't you, the public, to help cut emissions and have more responsible practices.
Yeah, from the experience in Kuala Lumpur, we have this plan, the low-carbon society plan, meaning that involving the society, low-carbon society plan for 2030. We have this plan. We have also the climate action plan for 2050, and we also have the renewable energy plan, which involve the society and the people. So I think that when they understand, sometimes we talk about the smart cities, but I believe in smart cities as smart people. You have the smart cities, you have not smart people. Not smart in terms of giving all the PhD, but all that. But I think that is the people-centered smart city and deal very much with climate change. So I think some of the ideas from the community, sometimes it's very simple ideas, but it's have a very great impact to the environment. I mean, positive impact to the environment. So I totally believe in dealing and also engaging with public, and that's why what I'm doing now in Kuala Lumpur, we have a very close collaboration with the people in Kuala Lumpur in terms of the flooding, in terms of heat wave, in terms of tree. I don't talk about tree planting, but I said tree growing.
Nice.
You plant the trees, not grow is also not good. So it's plant growing together with the people. And we already have 1 million trees in Kuala Lumpur. We are now planting another 1 more million.
That you're also part of C40, which is this collective of mayors from cities all around the world to create sustainable cities. Does that work? Do those kind of collective kind of agreements and meetings, do they help?
I totally agreed with these collective voices. That's why when I was in the UN Habitat, I was a former executive director of UN Habitat, I was the one who really working together with the collection of the Mayors Network to have the local climate action summit during COP. The first one was in Sharm el-Sheikh, the second one in Dubai, and the third one is here. And I think that when we work together as a network, C40, UCLG, ICLE, Global Parliament of Mayors, GCOM and all that, our voices can be heard more. So I think now they are now very, I was very happy to see that the Mayors communique been accepted in Brazil, in Rio, and my colleague sending, hey, look, our efforts has been, can see that is the result of our efforts. So I believe in collaboration with the Mayors Network. That's why what I mentioned is the vertical and horizontal integration and inclusivity. Vertical meaning that from the global, UN, regional, national, and local government. And the horizontal is the private sector, the women, the girls, the youth, and the NGO and the indigenous people. So when we have this vertical and horizontal and inclusivity, I think that is the best, to me, that is workable solution to tackle climate change.
I can see you've got a lot of strategy and thinking that's gone into this, clearly from your UN background as well before this. Look, Maimunah Mohd Sharif, Kuala Lumpur Mayor, we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.